Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So friends, in the last lecture I discussed about basic principles of shallow foundation, what are different type of shallow foundations, and how the failure of the soil mass takes place, whether it is the general shear failure case or maybe the local shear failure case or punching shear failure case. I have also discussed about the Tarjagi's bearing capacity theory, now which is based on a strip footing which is resting on the soil mass of infinite extent, and that is taken as the case of a plane strain problem. Now if you see this figure, now in this figure you can see that there is a column and a foundation. This foundation transmits load on the soil underneath it. This foundation is placed at a depth df below the ground surface and the width of the foundation is b. Now when the loads are transmitted through this foundation onto the soil, and as the base of this foundation is rough, there is an active wedge which is formed below the foundation, and the angle which it makes with the horizontal is phi in the Tarjagi's theory, and when this foundation is becomes the part of this particular foundation, and this when this wedge pushes the soil mass, you will find that the shearing stresses are developed in the soil, and the movement of this is registered by the soil mass underneath it. Now you can see here there are two zones numbered as 2 and 3. This is the zone of radial shear, and this is the third zone which is giving the passive resistance. Now the free body diagram of this particular wedge is shown in the next figure like ABJ, in which B is the width and the load which is applied, that is actually the net ultimate bearing capacity of the foundation. The forces to which it is subjected on the AJ and BJ sides, these are the resistance which are offered due to the cohesion, and these sides act as the rough retaining walls, and the forces which are acting as it is pushing, so the forces are the passive resistance offered by these. You can also very well see that the shearing surfaces do not go beyond the horizontal surface at the base of the level, and it means it is the shearing resistance is not considered of the soil which is in this depth df, and its effect is only taken into account by considering a surcharge which is equivalent to gamma df. So this is the Tarjagi's bearing analysis, and on the basis of this, by considering the static equilibrium of the wedge, we have found that the bearing capacity equation in the general shear failure case will be given by Q ultimate equal to C and C plus Q0 and Q plus 0.5 gamma B and gamma, where C is the cohesion and Q0 is the overburden at the foundation level, that is determined as gamma into df, where gamma is the unit weight of the soil, gamma B is the width of the foundation, and factors NC, NQ and N gamma are known as bearing capacity factors, and the expressions for these we have seen in the last lecture. Now in the case of local shear case, when the failure is in local shear, then there are some modifications made, like C is replaced by 2/3 of C, and in order to determine bearing capacity factors Nc, Nq, N gamma which are based on the angle of shearing resistance of the soil, then that angle of shearing resistance is determined by phi dash, when this phi dash may be determined as 10 phi dash equal to 2/3 of 10 phi. It means that phi dash is the shearing resistance for the local shear failure case. And all these bearing capacity factors can be read from the table. Correlations are also available, but for ready use we can use these tables. Now, you will find that there is no bearing capacity equation available to account for the transition from the general case and from the local shear failure case. We know that the general shear failure case will take place when the phi value is greater than 38 degrees, whereas for the local shear failure case that phi is less than 28 degrees. But between 28 and 38 degrees there is no bearing capacity equation. So, in order to take into account this transition, Peck et al. In 1974 have given the curves for NQ and N gamma, which automatically account for the mixed state of local and general shear failure, and they have given a chart like this in which these factors N gamma and NQ are dependent on angle of internal friction. These are the bearing capacity factors. You will find here that if the soil is loose to very loose, there may be possibility of the local shear failure case. So, this particular chart accounts for all the cases: general shear failure, local shear failure, and then the transition. So, this is what we have discussed in the last lecture. Now, I am going to extend it for the general bearing capacity of shallow foundation. Now, several investigators redefined the solution suggested by Tarjagi, including Meyerhoff in 1951, Mortensen in 1953, and Balla in 1962. Now, all these solutions suggest that the bearing capacity factors Nc and Nq do not change much. However, N gamma vary widely, mainly due to the assumption of the wedge shape located directly below the footing. It means that is the elastic wedge which is formed below the foundation. Now, model tests have shown that the sides of the wedge ABJ, which makes angle of 45 plus phi by 2 instead of phi as suggested by Tarjagi. Now, this type of failure mechanism is shown in the next figure. Now, here you can see again, as far as the failure zones are concerned or the wedges are concerned, they are similar to what we have seen in the case of Tarjagi 1, 2, 3. Only difference is that the inclination which these particular sides of the elastic wedge we are making, that was phi in the case of Tarjagi, and now it is 45 plus phi by 2 in the case of other theories proposed. Now, this particular observation has been obtained on the basis of model studies carried out by those researchers. The equation is in the same general form as that given by Tarjagi. However, the bearing capacity factors are not the same because of this inclination of the wedge. However, Tarjagi bearing capacity equation yield good results for all practical purposes. That is why you will find that the Tarjagi bearing capacity factors is preferred. The Tarjagi bearing capacity equation has been modified for other shapes of foundations by introducing the shape factor. As you know that this Tarjagi bearing capacity equation has been developed for a strip footing of size B, which is resting at a depth gamma df. Now, these particular correlations or the equation can be extended in the case of square foundations, in the case of circular foundations, in the form like in the case of square foundations, this Q ultimate is 1.3 CNC plus QNQ plus 0.4 gamma B N gamma. You can see from here that C is replaced by 1.3 C and 0.5 is replaced by 0.4. Similarly, the case for circular foundations, in which this is 1.3 CNC plus QNQ plus 0.3 gamma B N gamma. Now, in the case of rectangular foundations, the shape factors can be determined by these this particular equation, and the safe factors are included here, like this Q ultimate bearing capacity is given by CNC plus 1.3 B by L, where B is the width of the foundation or the diameter of the foundation, L is the length of the foundation, and other factors remaining as it is. So, for the rectangular foundations, this ultimate bearing capacity will be given by CNC 1 plus 0.3 B upon L plus Q0 NQ plus 0.5 gamma B N gamma 1 minus 0.2 B upon L. Now, especially for the case of saturated clays, Skempton has given bearing capacity factors in 1951, and he has proposed that the following equation holds good for the bearing capacity of strip foundation resting on saturated clays. Now, in the case of clays, as phi is 0, so other parameters vanish, and we are left with equation Q ultimate equal to CNC plus gamma DNF, gamma DF, and by definition net ultimate bearing capacity is equal to ultimate bearing capacity minus overburden gamma dF. So, net ultimate bearing capacity will become equal to C into NC. Now, this cohesion is actually the undrained cohesion. This undrained cohesion can be determined by conducting unconsolidated undrained test in laboratory in triaxial, or may be conducted, may be obtained directly by the unconfined compression test, which is conducted on the clay sample obtained from the field, and cohesion is equal to this unconfined compressive strength divided by 2, where if we assume that the factor of safety is equal to 3 for, because most of the time we consider this factor of safety from 2.5 to 3, and suppose we consider this factor of safety equal to 3 and NC is equal to 6, because you will find that in most of the tables that factor of safety is around 6, 5.14 to 5.7. Different researchers have given different values. So, if factor of safety equal to 3 and NC equal to 6, for all practical purposes the net safe bearing capacity for strip footing may be written as QNS equal to QU by 2 into NC upon F. Now, here this Q by 2 into 6 by F, if we substitute these values here, then we will get this net safe bearing capacity almost equal to the unconfined compressive strength of the clay. So, if clay, the foundations resting on clay will have at least the unconfined compressive strength as the bearing capacity, net safe bearing capacity of the foundation, strip foundation. Now, this factor NC has been found to vary with the shape of the foundation as well as the depth at which it is placed. So, here there is a chart which is shown by Vesic, that this Skempton bearing capacity factors are for clay soils. Now, in the case of, you can see from these this plot that the lower and upper limiting values of the NC for strip and square foundations may be written as follows, like for the different type of foundation and for different ratio of dF by V, for the strip footing it can be 0, for 0 it will be 5.14, if it is greater than or equal to 4 it is 7.5, for square footing it is 0, if dF by V is 0 then it is 6.2, and if it is greater than or equal to 4 it can be taken as 9. The equation for rectangular foundation for obtaining the value of NC may be written as this NC, R is representing the shape of the foundation, that is equal to 0.84 plus 0.16 B upon L, where B is the width of the foundation, L is the length of the foundation, and NCS is the NC value for the strip footing. Now, this NC value of the strip footing may be obtained by the previous graph or the table. So here this NCR is NC for the rectangular foundation and NCS is the NC for the, I am sorry, this is for the square foundation. Now all these correlations are valid when the soil is dry. Now we know that there are lot of fluctuations in the water table in various seasons. So the effect of water table on wearing capacity of foundations will have to be taken into account. The theoretical equations developed for computing bearing capacity of soil are based on the assumption that the water table lies at a depth of foundation equal to or greater than the width of the footing. Now suppose the water table lies at any intermediate depth which is less than df plus b, the bearing capacity gets affected due to the presence of water table. We know that due to the presence of water table or fluctuations in the water table, there is decrease or increase in stresses, the effective stresses are increased or decreased, and then and hence the bearing capacity also increases or decreases. Now here we can consider two cases. In case 1, when the water table lies above the base of the foundation, means it is between 0 from the ground surface 0 to depth of the foundation, and in the case 2, when the water table lies within the depth b below the base of the foundation. Now these two cases can be considered and solved by using two different methods. In the first method, for any position of the water table within the depth df plus b, this q ultimate will be given by CNC plus q0 nq Rw1 plus 0.5 gamma b n gamma Rw2. Now the factors Rw1 and Rw2 are known as the reduction factors for water table. Now Rw1 is the reduction of factor for water table above base level of foundation. Rw2 is the reduction factor for water table below base level of the foundation. Now in the case 1, when the water table lies above base level of foundation or when the depth of the water table divided by depth of foundation is less than or equal to 1, the equation for Rw1 may be written as Rw1 equal to 0.5 in bracket 1 plus dw1 upon df, and from this equation we can find out that if this ratio is 0 dw1 upon df, then Rw1 equal to 0.5, but if this ratio is equal to 1, means depth of the water table which is above the foundation level is at the level of the foundation itself, then it becomes equal to 1. If this ratio becomes 1, and hence Rw1 becomes equal to 0. Now this can be made clear by this particular figure. Now here we are considering the case when the groundwater table is above the base of the foundation and dw1 is the depth of the water table below the ground surface, df is the depth of the foundation. Now based on those two equations we can develop a relationship between Rw1 and dw1 upon df, and similarly for the other case when the water table is below the level of the foundation or when dw2 by b is less than or equal to 1. Now similar to the previous equation, this equation for Rw2 may be written as 0.5 1 plus dw2 by b, where dw2 by b is 0, then Rw2 will be equal to 0.5, and for the case when dw2 by b is equal to 1, Rw2 will be equal to 1. Now again this can be made clear by this particular figure. You can see that this groundwater table is below the base of the foundation, but it is lying between these two depths, where this is the b and the depth of the foundation, additional depth of the foundation which is considered as b. Now from the previous equation, a relationship between Rw2 and dw2 by b can be developed, and that relationship is nothing but a straight line. So this particular graph can also be used to find out the Rw2 for intermediate values of dw2 by b. The relationships for RW1 and RW2 as given previously are based on the assumption that the submerged unit weight of the soil is equal to half of the saturated unit weight and the soil above the water table remains saturated. Alternatively, effective, that is submerged, unit weight should be used in the Tarjagi's bearing capacity equation for the soil below water table. Now, I will explain method 2. Now, this method takes into account the equivalent effective unit weight, and these may be used to determine ultimate bearing capacity. Like what we will do, we will replace unit weight of soil which is above the foundation level and the unit weight of the soil up to depth B below the foundation level by gamma E1 and gamma E2, where gamma E1 is the weighted effective unit weight of soil lying above the base level of foundation and gamma E2 is the weighted effective weight of the soil lying within the depth B below the base level of the foundation. Gamma saturated is the saturated unit weight of the soil below the water table and gamma submerged is the submerged unit weight of the soil. Now, case 1, when the water table lies above the base level of foundation or when dW1 upon dF is smaller than or equal to 1, then this gamma E1 can be written as gamma submerged plus dW1 upon dF in bracket gamma minus gamma submerged, whereas gamma E2 will remain gamma submerged. Now, in the case 2, when the water table lies below base level of the foundation or when dW2 by B is less than or equal to 1, then gamma E1 will be equal to gamma and gamma E2 will be equal to gamma submerged plus dW2 by B gamma minus gamma submerged. Now, we have discussed so far the Tarjagi bearing capacity equation, and now I will explain or we will be more conversant with the use of this Tarjagi bearing capacity equation and by solving a few worked examples. Let us say the first example is a strip footing of width 3 meter is founded at a depth of 2 meter below the ground surface in soil strata having unit cohesion as 30 kilonewton per meter square and angle of shearing resistance phi equal to 35 degrees. The water table is at a depth of 5 meter below the ground level. The moist weight of the soil above the water table is 17.25 kilonewton per meter cube. Now, we will be using Tarjagi bearing capacity equation to determine the ultimate bearing capacity of soil, the net ultimate bearing capacity of soil and the safe bearing capacity of soil for a factor of safety equal to 3. Now, in this case general shear failure criterion of Tarjagi has been considered. Now, depending upon the description, this is the sketch which shows the depth of the foundation as 2 meter, width of the foundation, and this is water table is 5 meter below the ground surface. Here phi equal to 35 degrees, gamma equal to 17.25 kilonewton per meter cube and C equal to 30 kilonewton per meter square. Now, for phi equal to 35 degrees, the bearing capacity factors can be obtained by the plots available or the tables. Now, if you use tables, then you can find that phi equal to 35 degrees, NC is equal to 57.8, NQ equal to 41.4 and N gamma equal to 42.4. Now, from Tarjagi equation, if you substitute this in the equation, Q ultimate equal to CNC plus gamma DF NQ plus 0.5 gamma B N gamma. If you substitute respective values here and solve it, you will get ultimate bearing capacity as the 4259 kilonewton per meter square. We know that net ultimate bearing capacity is equal to ultimate bearing capacity minus gamma dF. So, this will become equal to 4225 kilonewton per meter square. Now, we can find out net safe bearing capacity if we know net ultimate bearing capacity by dividing it by a factor of safety. Now, here this factor of safety equal to 3. So, 4225 divided by 3, that will become equal to 1408 kilonewton per meter square. Now, in order to determine the safe bearing capacity, we will have to add gamma dF to the net safe bearing capacity, and it comes out to be 1443. It means if all the quantities are known, we can find out the bearing capacity, ultimate bearing capacity, net safe bearing capacity, and ultimate safe bearing capacity of the foundation. Now, in the example 2, it has been extended with all other data remaining the same. Only thing is that was for the general shear failure case. Now, we are using it for the local shear failure case. Now, for local shear failure case, we have seen that tan phi dash becomes equal to 2/3 of tan phi, and C dash becomes equal to 2/3 of C, and using those values here, we obtain this phi dash is 25 degrees and C dash as 20 kilonewton per meter square. Now, from the table, for phi dash equal to 25 degrees, we can find out bearing capacity factors for the local shear failure case given as NC dash, NQ dash, and N gamma dash. So, this is 25.1, 12.7 and 9.7. Now, again in the Terzaghi bearing capacity equation, if you substitute these values, we will get this ultimate bearing capacity as 1191 kilonewton per meter square. Following the same approach, we can find out net ultimate bearing capacity as ultimate minus gamma dF, then net safe by net ultimate by factor of safety, and then finally safe as net safe plus gamma dF. In this manner, we can find out bearing capacity for the local shear failure case also. Now, there is another example in which the effect of water table has been taken into account. The data is similar to what is given in example 1, only thing is there is change in the location of water table such that the water table rises to the base level of the foundation, determine the safe bearing capacity of the footing, all other data remaining the same, only change is in the saturated unit weight of the soil, that is considered as 18.5 kilonewton per meter cube. Now, when the water table is at the ground level, we have to use the submerged unit weight of the soil. Therefore, gamma submerged will be equal to gamma saturated minus gamma W. 18.5 minus gamma W is the unit weight of water. So, this is 18.5 minus 9.81, it comes out to be 8.69 kilonewton per meter cube. Now, again substituting all these values, we will find that the Q ultimate comes out to be 3001 kilonewton per meter square. Again we find out Q net safe as Q ultimate by factor of safety and Q safe by Q net safe plus gamma dF. So, in this manner we can take into account the effect of water table. Now, in another example, suppose the water table occupies some other positions, like for case A, water table is 1.25 meter below ground level, it is 1.25 meter below base level of the foundation. What will be the safe bearing capacity? Now, assuming again gamma saturated as 18.5 kilonewton per meter cube, gamma above the water table as 17.5 kilonewton per meter cube, other data remaining the same. Now, this is the sketch for the description here. Now, here there are two cases. When the water table is above the foundation, dW1 is 1.25 meter. Another case, water table is below the foundation, dW2 is 1.25 meter below the base level of the foundation. So, this is case 1, this is case 2. Now, in order to obtain this solution, we can use either method 1 or method 2. In the method 1, we have seen that the water table correction factors RW1 and RW2 are determined, whereas in the method 2 we go for the equivalent effective unit weight. Now, in the case of method 1, by making use of the reduction factors RW1 and RW2 and using Terzaghi equation, this Terzaghi bearing capacity equation is written as Q ultimate equal to CNC plus gamma D and Q minus 1 RW1 plus 0.5 and V gamma N gamma RW2. In order to determine RW1 and RW2, either we can use equation directly or we can go for the charts which I have shown earlier. Now, if you substitute respective values of dW1, dF, dW2 and B, we can obtain RW1 and RW2. In this particular case, these are found out as 0.818 RW1 and RW2 equal to 0.5. Now, by substituting known values in the equation, the net ultimate bearing capacity can be determined as 3547 kilonewton per meter square, and by the usual method we can find out Q net safe. If Q net ultimate is known, factor of safety is known. So, we simply divide it by factor of safety and we obtain net safe bearing capacity, and that is equal to 1182 kilonewton per meter square, and the Q safe is equal to Q net safe plus gamma dF into RW1, and that comes out to be equal to 1212.3 kilonewton per meter square. So, in this manner we can find out the effect of the water table. Now, when case 2, when the water table is at 1.25 meter below the base of the foundation, then again using the formula as described earlier, we can find out RW1 by this particular equation, and it comes out to be 1, RW2 by this particular equation which comes out to be 0.42. Only thing, we will have to substitute 1.25 for dW2. Now, again using the equation for net ultimate bearing capacity, we can opt substituting different parameters and solving it, we will get this net ultimate bearing capacity as 4029 kilonewton per meter square. By the usual procedure, we can find out net safe bearing capacity and then finally the safe bearing capacity of the foundation. Now, alternately we can go for method 2, which we have discussed by equivalent effective unit weight. Submerged unit weight comes out to be gamma saturated minus gamma W, that is equal to 8.6 kilonewton per meter cube, and net ultimate bearing capacity is given by CNC plus gamma E1 dF NQ minus 1 plus 0.5 gamma E2 B and gamma. Now, case 1, when the water table is at 1.25 meter below the ground level, then gamma E1 can be determined by this particular equation, that is equal to buoyant unit weight plus dW1 upon dF plus gamma minus gamma B. Here gamma B is the gamma submerged, gamma equal to gamma saturated, this gamma equal to gamma saturated, that comes out to be that is given as 18.5 kilonewton per meter cube. So, gamma E1 is determined as 8.69 plus 1.25 by 2, 18.5 minus 8.69 using the formula. So, we get this gamma E1 as 14.82 kilonewton per meter cube. Gamma E2 is nothing but gamma submerged, in this case it comes out to be 8.69 kilonewton per meter cube. So, when we substitute all these values along with the bearing capacity factors, we find out Q net ultimate, that comes out to be 3480 kilonewton per meter square, and Q net safe as Q net ultimate divided by factor of safety as 1160 kilonewton per meter square, and hence Q safe as 1189.7 kilonewton per meter square. Now, case 2, when the water table is at 1.25 meter below the base of the foundation, this gamma E1 is taken as gamma 18.5 kilonewton per meter square cube, and this gamma E2 is taken as gamma submerged plus dW2 by B, gamma minus gamma submerged. If you substitute different values of gamma submerged, gamma saturated, etc., you will find that it comes out to be equal to 12.78 kilonewton per meter cube. So, in place of the gamma, we use now gamma E1 and gamma E2 appropriately, and we get this net ultimate as 4044 kilonewton per meter square. Then Q net safe, again by this formula we will get 1348 kilonewton per meter square, and Q safe as 1385 kilonewton per meter square. Now, in another example, if we take into account the shape of the footing. Now, here we have considered the case for the earlier we considered the case for the strip footing. Now, here it is a square footing which fails by general shear failure in cohesionless soil, means C equal to 0 under an ultimate load of 7500 kilonewton. The footing is placed at a depth of 2 meter below the ground level, given phi equal to 35 degrees, gamma equal to 17.25 kilonewton per meter square. We will have to determine the size of the footing if the water table is at great depth. So, this can be solved by using Tarjagi's equation for square footing. Here we have C equal to 0. So, C and C term will vanish and we will be left with Q ultimate equal to gamma df NQ plus 0.4 gamma b n gamma, because this footing is square footing. For phi equal to 35 degrees, NQ equal to 41.4 and n gamma equal to 42.4, these can be obtained either from the table or by the charts. So, when you substitute these values of NQ, n gamma, gamma, df, b in this ultimate bearing capacity equation, we will be left with the bearing capacity as 1428.3 plus 292.56 b, where b is the unknown. Now, we also know that the Q ultimate will be equal to the load divided by the area of the foundation. So, it becomes Q upon b square, that is equal to 7500 kilonewton divided by b square. Now, if you simplify this equation and transpose, we will get this cubic form of the equation as b cube plus 4.882 b square minus 25.63 equal to 0. Now, when we solve this equation by trial and error, we will get that the width of the foundation is 1.95 meter. It means a square foundation of 1.95 by 1.95 meter will be used. Now, in another example, that is the case of a rectangular footing. A rectangular footing of size 3 meter by 6 meter is founded at a depth of 2 meter below ground surface in a homogeneous cohesionless soil. It means again C equal to 0, having an angle of shearing resistance phi equal to 35 degrees. The water table is at great depth. The unit weight of soil is 18 kilonewton per meter cube. We have to determine net ultimate bearing capacity, net safe bearing pressure for factor of safety equal to 3, the safe load Qs for the footing can carry. Now, again use Tarjagi theory. Now, using Tarjagi equation for C equal to 0, we will get this as the equation for rectangular footing. Gamma df equal into NQ minus 1 plus 0.5 gamma b n gamma 1 minus 0.2 b upon L. Now, by substituting different values, we will get net ultimate as 2485 kilonewton per meter square. Now, from this net ultimate, we can find out net safe if we know factor of safety. So, 2485 divided by factor of safety, that is 3, equal to 828 kilonewton per meter square. Now, once this Q net safe is known, we can find out Q safe, that is the ultimate safe bearing capacity, equal to QNS plus gamma df. It comes out to be 864 kilonewton per meter square, and hence the allowable load will be equal to the area of the footing into Q net safe, and that comes out to be equal to 15,552 kilonewton. Here we consider another example of a rectangular footing of size 3 meter by 6 meter, which is founded at a depth of 2 meter below ground level in cohesive soil. In B means phi equal to 0, which fails by general shear failure, given that gamma is 18 kilonewton per meter cube, C equal to 45 kilonewton per meter square. The water table is close to the ground surface. We will have to determine ultimate bearing capacity, net ultimate bearing capacity and net safe bearing capacity by Tarjagi's method and by Skempton method. Here we use factor of safety equal to 3. Now, first of all, by Tarjagi's method, as phi equal to 0, other parameters containing phi term will vanish, and we will be left with only NC, and NC will come out to be equal to 5.7, and NQ becomes equal to 1 for this case. So, this ultimate bearing capacity will be written as CNC plus 1 plus 0.3 B upon L, because it is a rectangular footing, plus gamma dF. Now, substituting the known values of other parameters like C, NC and NQ and gamma and dF, we will get this ultimate bearing capacity as 331 kilonewton per meter square. Net ultimate bearing capacity, that will be equal to Q ultimate minus gamma dF, comes out to be 295 kilonewton per meter square. Net safe, if we know net ultimate divided by factor of safety, we will get it as 98.33 kilonewton per meter square. Now, if we use Skempton method, now using Skempton method, we have Q ultimate equal to NCR plus gamma dF, where this NCR is the bearing capacity factor for rectangular foundation, and as discussed earlier, this NCR is equal to 0.84 plus 0.16 V by L into NCS, where this CS is for the square foundation. Now, either we can use this graph also, by which we can find out what is the value of for the circular or square foundation, the value of NC depending upon the ratio dF by B. So, using this particular plot, we can obtain from this figure, for dF by B equal to 0.67, NCS comes out to be 7.4. It can be seen again from this figure, we can find out it comes out to be 0.64, and from this, when we substitute for the bearing capacity factor NC for the rectangular foundation, when we substitute it here and the value of dF by B, we will get this as 6.8, and once NC for rectangular foundation is known, we substitute in the ultimate bearing capacity equation, we find out ultimate bearing capacity as 342 kilonewton per meter square and net ultimate bearing capacity as 306 kilonewton per meter square. If we know factor of safety, again QNU upon factor of safety will give you Q net safe, that comes out to be 102 kilonewton per meter square. Now, one thing can be noted here, that Tarjagi's and Skempton's values are in close agreement for cohesive soils. Now, in the example 6, which we have considered previously, if the soil in example 6 is cohesionless, C equal to 0, and if it fails by local shear, then how to get this value of net ultimate bearing capacity and net safe bearing capacity with other data remaining the same, this is explained in this particular example. Now, from Tarjagi's equation, we have for local shear failure and C equal to 0, this net ultimate bearing capacity given by gamma dF NQ dash minus 1, where NQ dash and gamma dash are the bearing capacity factors for the local shear failure case. These can be obtained if we obtain value of phi dash, and that phi dash will be given by tan inverse 2/3 of tan 35 degrees, where 35 degrees is the phi value when it is the case of general shear failure. So, when we substitute it here, we will get phi dash equal to 25 degrees, and for this phi dash equal to 25 degrees, using the tables we can find out what is NQ, what is N gamma, and those will be the local shear failure bearing capacity parameters. Now, when we substitute these known values, we will get net ultimate and finally net safe as net ultimate divided by factor of safety. Now, in this particular case, it comes out to be 219 kilonewton per meter square. Now, this is another example. What will the grass and net safe bearing capacity of sand having phi equal to 35 degrees and unit weight of soil 18 kilonewton per meter cube under the following cases: when the size of the footing is 1 meter by 1 meter square, or the size of the footing is circular diameter of 1 meter dia, and thirdly is 1 meter wide strip footing. It means in this, through this example we can compare the bearing capacity for different type of footings, whether it is square footing or a circular footing or a strip footing. For phi equal to 35 degrees, NQ and N gamma factors are can be read out from the table. For square footing, this ultimate bearing capacity is equal to gamma df NQ plus 0.4 gamma b N gamma. Here this factor is 0.4, whereas in the case of strip footing it is 0.5. So, when we substitute respective values of gamma df, gamma again and b and N gamma, we get ultimate bearing capacity, and that comes out to be in this particular case equal to 1050.5 kilonewton per meter square. Once ultimate bearing capacity is known, we can find out net ultimate bearing capacity as Q ultimate minus gamma df. In this case it is 1032.5, and then net safe bearing capacity as net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety. So, this comes out to be 344.17 kilonewton per meter square. For the case of circular footing, this factor in this equation is 0.3 and other factors remaining same. We substitute values, we get Q ultimate, then we get Q net ultimate, and finally we get Q net safe. So, different values of Q ultimate, net ultimate and Q net safe are 974.16 kilonewton per meter square, 956.16 kilonewton per meter square and 318.72 kilonewton per meter square respectively. For the case of strip footing, when we substitute respective values in the Terzaghi bearing capacity equation, we get Q ultimate as 1126.8 kilonewton per meter square, Q net ultimate as 1108.81 kilonewton per meter square and Q net safe as 369.6 kilonewton per meter square. Now, this is another example, that is of a strip foundation which is founded at a depth of 1.5 meter below the ground surface. Water table is close to the ground surface and the soil is cohesionless. The footing is supported to carry a net safe load intensity of 400 kilonewton per meter square with factor of safety equal to 3. Given that saturated unit weight of the soil as 20.85 kilonewton per meter cube and phi equal to 35 degrees, find the width of the footing under general shear failure criterion given by Terzaghi. Now, again, in order to solve this problem, once we know value of phi, NQ and N gamma parameters are obtained from the table, and we substitute these values in the equation of Terzaghi for the strip footing, and that is gamma df NQ minus 1 plus 0.5 gamma v N gamma. Now, we know that the water table is very close to the ground surface. So, the gamma will be used as the submerged unit weight, where gamma submerged in both the terms, and that is equal to gamma saturated minus gamma W. So, this is the gamma saturated minus unit weight of water will give 11.04 kilonewton per meter cube as the submerged unit weight of the soil mass. And when we substitute these values and it is given that the net safe equal to 400 kilonewton per meter square, then for this net safe, if we multiply it by factor of safety, we will get net ultimate, and this net ultimate is compared with the net ultimate which we obtain from the bearing capacity equation. So, when we substitute this, then the unknown parameter in this case is the width of the footing. When we solve it, we will get width of the footing as 2.27 meters. Now, this is another example. At what depth should a foundation of size 2 meter by 3 meter be founded to provide a factor of safety equal to 3 if the soil is stiff clay having an unconfined compressive strength of 120 kilonewton per meter square. The unit weight of soil is 18 kilonewton per meter cube. The ultimate bearing capacity of the foundation is 425 kilonewton per meter square, again using Terzaghi theory and water table considering very close to the ground surface. Now, using Terzaghi theory for the case phi equal to 0 for the rectangular foundation, we have this q ultimate equal to 5.7, that this 0.57 is the NC parameter, C 1 plus 0.3 B upon L plus gamma df. Since the water table is close to the ground level, gamma which we use again that will be the gamma submerged in the above equation, and gamma submerged is equal to gamma saturated minus gamma W, that comes out to be 8.19 kilonewton per meter cube. Now, the cohesion is the unconfined compressive strength divided by 2, and unconfined compressive strength in this particular case is given as 120 kilonewton per meter square. So, cohesion comes out to be 60 kilonewton per meter square. Now, when we substitute these values, we can obtain the unknown parameter, that is the depth of foundation where the foundation should be placed for this particular case, and when we solve it, we get depth of foundation as 1.78 meters. Now, in another example, that is the case of a rectangular foundation which is to be founded at a depth of 2 meter below the ground surface in C5 soil having the following properties. The properties of the soil are porosity, that is equal to 40%, specific gravity of soil solids, that is given, that is equal to 2.67, cohesion C is given as 15 kilonewton per meter square, and angle of shearing resistance is given as 30 degrees. The water table is close to the ground surface. If the width of footing is 3 meter, what is the length required to carry a grass bearing pressure of 455 kilonewton per meter square with a factor of safety equal to 3, using Terzaghi's theory of general shear failure. Now, again in this case our aim is to find out what should be the length of the footing. Now, for the rectangular footing, ultimate bearing capacity given by Terzaghi is CNC plus 1 plus 0.3 B upon L plus gamma df NQ, 0.5 gamma B N gamma, 1 minus 0.2 B by L. Since the water table is close to the ground surface, we will have to first find out what is the unit weight. Now, as it is very close to the ground surface, the unit weight will be the gamma submerged, and gamma submerged can be determined if we know gamma W, specific gravity of soil solids which is given, and the void ratio. This void ratio can be determined if we know porosity by the relationship E equal to N upon 1 minus N. So, when we substitute value of porosity which is 40%, 0.4 divided by 1 minus 0.4, it will give the void ratio of the stratum comes out to be 0.67. Now, when we substitute this 0.67 in the submerged gamma submerged equation, we will find that gamma submerged will come out to be equal to 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube. Now, for phi equal to 30 degrees from Terzaghi's table, we can find out what is NC, NQ and N gamma, and these values are 37.2, 22.5 and 19.7 respectively. Now, by substituting all these known values, we can find out a relationship for ultimate bearing capacity which will have one unknown, and that unknown is length of the foundation. In the problem, QS is given as 455 kilonewton per meter square and factor of safety is given as 3. So, we know that Q net safe equal to QS minus gamma df. So, it will come out to be 455 minus 9.81 into 2, that is equal to 435.38 kilonewton per meter square. Then net ultimate will be can be obtained by multiplying QNS with a factor of safety, that comes out to be 1306.14 kilonewton per meter square, and Q ultimate will be equal to Q net ultimate plus gamma df. So, that will come out to be 1325.7 6 kilonewton per meter square. And we have already obtained a relationship for Q ultimate in which L was unknown. So, when we equate this value with the equation, we get value of length of the foundation, that is 1325.76 equal to 1289 plus 328 by L, and we solve it, length of the foundation comes out to be 8.92 meter. So, in this particular lecture I have tried to explain the use of safe bearing capacity equation given by Tarjagi in order to solve problems related to strip footing, square footing, circular footing, rectangular footing, and in the conditions when the water table is at different locations below the ground surface, and for the case of cohesionless soil and for the case of cohesive soil, including the Skempton's bearing capacity parameters. Now, in the next lecture I will discuss few more worked examples to find out ultimate bearing capacity, and or in other way round to find out the unknowns, like what should be the depth of foundation, what should be the width of foundation or length of foundation. Thank you.